time for another Fight Stick Shootout!
Timmy! Little Fight Stick Shootout, bye!
We went to the big dogs. What do we got here? We got ourselves the TE2 Plus from MadCatz.
And the Qanba Dragon from Qanba.
It's time to battle, ladies and gentlemen.
Should we smash them together and see if Sama gets mad?
I'd get mad. This one's mine. Let's kick it off right now. You are looking at two great fight sticks. I encourage that you have them both. I will eventually own both. Currently this one is mine. This one is actually owned by our R24 brethren, the Sama. So we recently did a review on this one. You guys watched it, you loved it, you've been sharing it, you watch it 8 times a day. But you're like, how's that stack up against the TE2? Because you mentioned you're gonna keep playing that one in tournament. And I was like, I am gonna keep playing this one in tournament. This is my tournament stick.
Yep.
And there were some reasons for that, and we're gonna kind of break them down. We're gonna go back to back, we're gonna go back and forth.
We're gonna push them in and out.
So, the similarities that these things have out of the box.
Buttons?
Buttons, they both have sidewall. Mine no longer does.
Yep.
I have transitioned to the Hayabusa that Hori makes. They have a matte finish and they've got a low throw on them. It's a very quick button.
Yep.
So I have switched those out. However, these guys are still Sama over here.
They sure are.
But I don't use them. They're just there for aesthetics. I'm not gonna lie, I'm a 6-button guy. So button to button, same deal. Stick to stick, what do you got? What do you got over there?
Oh.
You got a sand one.
Okay.
You silly
do that again.
I don't remember my intro now. So let's compare stick to stick. What do you got?
I've got a sand one.
I got a sand one too. What? Are you kidding me? What? That's so crazy. That's so crazy. One thing my Sanwa has that his does not, that I encourage everybody has, it's one of these little guys right here. One of these little freak mod dealies.
Oh, but yeah, but you can't buy it like that. Your stick doesn't come like that.
It does not.
This is a modded stick, fellas.
Mine's been modded. Mine has been with me for a while now. But I can tell you that that is one thing that I would encourage that you actually would add to this one, and that is for traveling purposes. Right? Yeah. The last thing you want to do is have a 15-pound stick like this guy fall on its side, and it's got, you know, its own stick on there. Oh,
I don't like that scenario. You're upsetting me.
And that's
out.
What makes that guy worth it, right there.
This is actually really sick, and it just feels good in the hand.
Yeah, so great little enhancement there, a couple extra bucks, which actually makes these a little closer in price now, all of this.
Yeah, so this was actually, I don't know how much this is now, but this launched at $250. I
think currently you can get them for about $199.
Okay.
It seems to be the going rate for one. This guy is $320. Right, you've seen our review, we've explained why it is a $320 stick. There is a price difference, obviously. There might be some reasons that you would have one over the other if you had to pick between them right now. Yeah. Right, the big one for me is weight.
Yep, right? This, 11.6 pounds!
11.6 pounds, so she's big.
This not
one,
so much.
I don't have a scale, I don't check the stats, but probably 6 or 7 tops. Not a very heavy stick, which makes it very convenient for going to your locals, or if you're at a major and you have to stand up all day, or you're walking around in that town and you've got it on your back. It's not going to be as cumbersome to keep around. Right. So that's kind of out of the gate number one. That was an advantage for me. If I was a home player, it'd be irrelevant. Except that's all it does. Wouldn't have to do anything with it.
Exactly.
I've got to pick it up again.
Yep. And like we said before in this review, this, in my opinion, in his opinion, this is a home stick. This is the one that you collect and you put on your desk and you're proud of to show off. And you play your matches. This is the one you take to the tournament to slay all your foes. And you drink the blood of your enemies and you take their wives home.
Beer on it and wipe it off or whatever.
Yeah.
Now, the reason for that is because one of the biggest complaints to the TE2 is that the top flexes and it...
And it does. Because, and my beef with it is the way this connects, it opens fine, but when it connects, and then it kind of just shifts in place there.
Any of you who have one, you know that eventually over time that even gets a little squeakier. Listen. This one.
This is like Gordy.
It's actually breaking the table, I think. Yeah. So this one has an aluminum casing to it. It's got excellent attachments in terms of the latch system. This one is just a plastic molded case. It's perfectly durable in terms of just abusing and abusing in tournaments and such. But that's part of the reason that these have a cost difference to them. Yeah. Also, no LEDs on this one. There's no lights. This one does have the LED system on the top.
Right up here. What does that do for you? Nothing.
Nothing.
It's just there.
Purely there to look gorgeous, and that's doing what it's doing.
Yeah, let's talk about what's things that look gorgeous. So the TE2 is preferred by 90% of fighting game fans because of its modding capabilities. You mod it to be your own. It's customizable. Let's look at the internals.
We shall. Now, there's one big thing to the internals here. Whip them around. Whip them around.
Yep.
If I place something inside of this case and I close it without paying attention, my internals might get a little beat up.
Yep.
Now,
because they're exposed.
One thing that I keep in here is I always keep a rag because I like to keep my gear pretty clean. But I also have like this cool hair tie, and then I use the rag when I travel. I take off the actual stick, I wrap it up in that, and then I place it on the inside. I'm always very nervous that that's going to like bump into some cables and mess up a wire, and I'll have to try and scurry to find a replacement while I'm at a tournament. Right? That gets a little scary. This guy has this just super simple, brilliant idea of just protecting it in that little piece of plastic right there. It's clear, you can see what's in there, but both are very clearly labeled.
Yep, so both are color-coded, so you know what's what.
Yep, so you don't have to worry about taking off a button and then not knowing where it goes next time around. Look at that.
Now, I know that we talked about doing a stick mod video, and we did, but we lost the footage, so we haven't redone it yet. We haven't. This is not our stick, so we didn't try modding anything, so I don't know how easy the connectors come on and off. We can't speak for that, but
probably very similar.
I'm sure
they're both Sanwa buttons, so it's going to have a similar connection to it. There's plenty of space in here for a little extra storage. I do like that the TE2 has the extra storage here for buttons, as well as the screwdriver, which I typically don't keep my screwdriver there. Actually, I keep my Brooks converter in case I play on Xbox One or whatever. And then this, a gigantic topic of discussion, if you will, is the TE2 has a removable cable. It's just the normal, kind of cheap rubberized cable with the ferrule, and it comes with this little guy to wrap it up, and then it stores in this little compartment, and then you close it up, and you have to screw it back on if you want to play. There are people in the world that when we first talked about this, it kind of sparked a discussion where they were not super happy that this does not have a removable cord.
I prefer removable cables, but as we said in review, the cable in here is mega sturdy. It's if you go back and look at our hitbox review, that's concerning. That's the difference between them is it's a concerning cable because it's loose, and if that comes loose, you're kind of SOL. And I've actually discussed with the owners of Hitbox about that, just ever so slightly in a couple messages back and forth. But this one is, there'd be like no danger. I would not even be at all worried. It is so incredibly sturdy.
It's completely out of the way. It also comes with that braided cable, so it's a very nice cable that's on it. This one, I am on the other side of the spectrum. I don't like the removable cable in this scenario because, 99% of the time you're at home playing, and I kind of stow this away, and then when it's time to play, I pull it out, I have to unwind it, and then you screw it into the top. And I know we're literally talking about 30 seconds, but I feel like it's just a lot easier. And sometimes I even use my Hori over this one at home because it's just really easy to just pop open the container, plug it in, and play, as opposed to having to pull this guy out, unwind it, screw it in, and then unwind it and screw it back up, put it all back inside of here, which also puts a little additional wear and tear on the hinge system for this. So there are people who are going to prefer this, there are people who are going to prefer that. I much prefer the system over here for Qanba. I should make my own over here. Just drill on some things to the back and just...
There you could, right?
Why not? Huh?
Yeah, I mean, that's
time to mod, right?
That's what this stick is for. Is you
that's
make it your
That just
own.
came to me. You guys can share that idea.
Yeah,
that one's free. That's a freebie. That's a freebie from the R24 boys.
Does your stick have the scales of a deceased dragon inside of it, though?
No, mine is just a crappy black plastic.
Huh.
Nothing fancy there at all.
Crappy black plastic. Plastic.
Black plastic.
This is so cool looking inside. I can't get over it. It's nothing.
It's the small aesthetics that make this one of the finest looking sticks we've ever seen that is not a completely custom order.
Yeah.
So in terms of, overall aesthetics, one big thing to it when it comes to fight sticks is people do like to do their own artwork. They like to have their own touch. They like to put on their sponsors. They like to put on their gamer tag, picture of the dot or whatever it is. They like that you can remove the plexi for this, put your own artwork in, as I have my own custom artwork in, provided to me from Adam Ronin, as you can see here. Right, slight little twist on the stock one. But the thing that is cool about it is you can. This system over here I haven't actually seen anybody successfully pull it off yet. It might be one of those things where you have to lay like a 3M type of a sticky material to the top with artwork. Truthfully, I don't believe that this needs artwork. I think the design and aesthetics are what you want. You want it sleek. You want that cool, you know, advanced technology look that they have created.
Yeah, and there's definitely a plexi here.
There's a plexi. They've got kind of like a...
I don't know how to remove it. I don't want to try it because it's not our stick. And even if it was our stick, I wouldn't want to do it just because it looks great.
Right, and what's crazy is, you know, you buy this one at $200 and you're like, oh, all right, I'm instantly going to go get artwork done. I'm going to get it replaced. You know, like Focus Attack does the same thing for Hori, where you can get a plexi and you can get artwork and stuff done. That's the easiest way to do it for that. This guy, I'm sure something will be developed and somebody will want to change it and it'll happen down the road. I just haven't seen anything yet. This guy is super new to market. Same with the Obsidian, which doesn't come out until like January. So we just don't know exactly yet how, and I wouldn't, so I'm not really investigating it.
Yeah. What about the PCB boards?
So we talk about this in the review here, that a lot of people are like, your PCB is faster than mine, that's why I beat me. No, it comes down to talent. You can adjust to the input latency of all of these things. This is an incredibly competitive board. I have lost matches to people playing on this sticks, and I was using mine. So the fact is, this does have what appears to be, with primitive testing, a slightly faster PCB than the Qanba. The Qanba has faster than the Hori. This destroys the Hori, but basically that's if you push buttons at the exact same time. Mine seems to make it to the PS4 a hair faster, but we're literally talking milliseconds. Yeah. So it's not going to ruin setups or anything like that. I've won plenty of matches on this guy in the short time that I've had it in a bevy of fighting games. So,
and let me say, if I can, you know, toot my own little horn, I do have won matches on this.
Exactly. Well, you mean the PCB didn't slow you down?
No.
Oh, crazy.
It didn't.
Yeah, so that's the thing, guys. Don't put too much stock into that. A lot of times people are like, oh, that guy's using this, he'll never win. And it's like, no, it comes down to the player's talent. This is a perfectly competitive board. Like I said, primitive tests and averages show that this one is a hair faster. I'm sure there'll be more scientific tests down the road that we will not be doing. You could pick this up and you could get to gold in a night if you sat down and played some Street Fighter.
If that's important to you, by all means do your own tests, but you know, it doesn't matter.
Yeah, absolutely.
But which one should I buy between the two sticks?
Let me tell you what I would buy. Both.
Do you have the money?
I don't have the money. So that comes down to what you do for you and your gaming. There are going to be individuals that are on casual side of things. They're not super competitive. They want to stay home. They want to play games, you know, in the comfort of their own home in some comfy pants. You know, that I think would be the finest stick that you could possibly put into your repertoire.
Sure. I might have a slightly different opinion. They're both amazing. I would love to have both. I will have both. If you have to buy one, I say, personally, I would go with the TE2 Plus because of, you know, make it your own, mod it how you want to do the things you want to do, take it to the tournaments, beat it up, it's going to work fine. Right. If you want to compete, if you just stay at home and you're a casual fighter but you want a nice stick, then definitely get this one. Right. But between the two, I prefer this just because of, you know, the traveling, the weight, especially like if you're a kid and you put this on your lap, you're gonna be you're gonna be paralyzed Timmy in like the next.
My little guy's 6 years old, and we had this on his lap last night playing some matches, and he was able to do it, but you can tell it's like, wow, that's got me weighed down a little bit. Yeah,
you'll be sleeping with the fishes if you have this on your lap.
You know, something we mentioned in the review about this is that this is not your first stick. I guarantee that if you're getting into fighting games, this is not the first thing that you jumped into. If maybe you're making the jump from...
Sometimes this isn't even your first stick.
I was going to say, yeah, like maybe you got a Qanba Dragon, right? And then you're like, oh, I'm ready to kind of step it up a little bit. You get this guy, and you just start gutting it. You know, you're replacing gates and sticks, and, you know, you start doing all kinds of mods, and you're just wiring and buttons, and then you do art, and then you're like, man, I want to paint the sides. You're doing all kinds of crazy things. Then maybe you're prepared to, like, make the jump to this where you don't really need to do any of those things. Like, you just like the aesthetics, so you go with this.
Yep.
So this, I feel like, is definitely a little more friendly to just kind of open it up, changing things around, really making it your own, but also using and abusing. Like I said, for tournaments, I'm very comfortable taking this and, you know, picking my backpack up and down and kind of beating it up. I don't have a backpack. What do I have laying around? What am I going to be using? I'm going to be using the Qanba Guardian this year. You'll see this at tournaments right here, baby.
Yeah.
That's right. Upgrade from the old Street Fighter bag I used last year. So you know, this obviously is going to keep it protected, but that being said, I feel more confident taking this with me. It's a little easier to wear and, you know, kind of put on my lap, that kind of a deal. Also,
and we are big fans of this because we love the way it looks, but the community is a bit divided. There are people out there that think this is an ugly stick. It might just not be your cup of tea.
Yeah.
Depends on if you like that whole Knight Rider look, which I think is cool.
Yeah, exactly, yeah. But, you know, here's the thing, like, you know, aesthetics aside or whatever, in terms of, like, the build quality, this stick is fantastic. In terms of the build quality over here, there's a couple sacrifices that are made, but this baby is ready to stand up to, you know, years of abuse. I've got a friend, I watched his kid jump up and down on his TE2 the other day, and it was like, I would never let that happen in my house. I'd be like, no, what are you doing? Stop! And he was just walking all over it. And he's like, get down, buddy. And just set him down. And I was like, oh, it takes it. That's cool. Yeah. That's encouraging.
That's the difference between these, because this would take it too, but you would throw the kid against the wall before you walk on your Qanba Dragon.
So, you know, I'm very excited to add this one to my collection down the road. It's a little expensive out of the gate to just, you know, go out and grab. But I will say the other thing they have coming out is the Obsidian, which is kind of like the smaller brother to this one. So I might have that one out this year. We'll see in tournaments. I don't know. That one might, because it's smaller, replace this guy, but we won't know yet.
I guess you'll have to wait until you get the review on that.
So maybe there's a review coming there.
Weird.
Giving you guys some details.
But yeah, I mean, you know, guys, there's really no clear winner here. This is all subjective opinions. It's a personal choice. Right. My personal choice is I would go with this based on those things, but I also want this. But if you had one,
yeah. And the thing about fight sticks,
you can do both.
You just want them all, right? That's so true. You know, like I said, if it stood as now, if I'm playing at home, I'd be on this guy. If you saw me at a tournament, I would have this guy. So, like I said, ultimately, I will hopefully own both, and that way I can play at home with sound, which is super cool.
That is cool, because this does not have the ability for a headset. I know that doesn't matter to a lot of you, but it does matter to us and some of because we like to listen to the game.
Listen to Rashido.
Or, you know, if you're not a Discord person and you just want to be in a party chat with your buddy and play some matches.
Super cool.
You can do that very easily.
So, the thing is, you're probably going to have some questions on this, and you're going to have some comments, maybe?
Where would they do that at? Perhaps the comment section.
Comment section down there. And we're always super responsive to those, so definitely let us know if you have any questions we can answer there. Also, you have the Twitters. Mr. Adam Rollins is there.
And there's Timmy's.
Right there, at BossBattleTim, as you may know me. Now, what else should they do?
I would like it if you press the like button or the subscribe button.
So that other people can see these shootouts, right?
Those
Share
do help.
With the world, the community, what we're all about.
And if there's other, you know, fighting game peripherals, we're running the whole line of fight sticks here, but if there's other stuff you want us to review, it helps if you want to support by going to patreon.com/R24, and that helps us get the things that you want to see.
Absolutely, kid. So thank you for coming out. Thank you for watching the unboxing, the review, the shootouts, the other reviews that are coming, all of our other videos, our content, our horror movies. I don't know if you guys ever saw any of those. I know you didn't. They're there for you. They're beautiful.
They are beautiful. They're good. I don't want to